You're probably thinking about moving to Albuquerque this next year in 2025, and I'm here to tell you guys that in this video, you're gonna wanna stick around because we're gonna be talking about a few unexpected topics. I haven't even talked about some of these things in some of our previous videos, so hang tight, grab a pen and your pad, and let's get into today's video. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. And if this is your first time tuning into the Living in Albuquerque channel, welcome. My name is Eli. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and notification bell down at the bottom. That way you guys never miss out on any videos like these that we are dropping every week, talking about what our beautiful city of Albuquerque has to offer. Now, for all you haters out there that keep saying that I talk with my hands, so much hand movements, I'm never gonna stop because I talk with my hands. I've always have. It's just my style, right? But anyways, guys, if you guys are planning on moving down here to New Mexico within the next year, the next 6 months, shoot, even the next 90 days, me and my team are licensed brokers and we love to help you out with that move. So if you are planning on moving down here, you have a ton of questions, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. I am the one that answers all the calls, texts, and emails, and I love to make sure that you're getting all the right information before you make that move down here. But let's talk about some of these interesting topics. Now let's start by talking about the unpredictable weather that we have here at times. Now, heading into the fall, it can get kind of weird. It's the first week of October, it's balloon fiesta season, and usually around this time, the temperatures really start to drop. So this morning, when I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, the temperatures were around like 55, low 50s. And then now that the sun's starting to come up, it's really starting to get warm. But there's an hour in between that when the sun is, barely rising, where the temperature drops significantly. So if you are planning on going to the balloon fiesta this year, or you plan on moving here, this is what you can kind of expect. That usually in the morning times, you are gonna wanna wear a sweater. And then towards the afternoon, you're gonna be taking some of those layers off. So layers are super huge here. Make sure that you're, buying the right amount of clothes and buying the right type of clothes, because you're gonna be taking layers on and off as the day progresses. Now, there is some times that usually we can expect some rain showers, scattered rain showers from here to there. And the microclimates that we see here are really dependent on how close you are to some of the amenities like the mountains, the river, and towards the northwest side. The northwest side doesn't get a whole lot of rain, but when it does come down pretty good. The east side is always getting hammered with rain, snow, high winds, and all that stuff. On the west side, we do experience some high winds and from time to time, but not as bad as like the east side. And then of course, down in the valley, it just is a hodgepodge of different microclimates. So you could see rainfall one minute, super nice, day, and it's raining, and out of nowhere, this high wind situation comes through. So can be unpredictable, but for a majority of the time, it's not gonna be that bad. It's actually pretty manageable. The mild climate that we have here is not gonna make it super difficult for you to go out and actually enjoy your life. Although there is gonna be some days in between, especially heading now into the winter, where you're just gonna wanna stay inside, right? You're not gonna wanna go outside and, do outdoor activities and all that stuff unless you got the proper gear, which again, kind of adds to some costs of living there, which we are gonna talk about today. So a couple things to think about when it comes down to the weather, but for the majority, it's pretty damn good. Now, there's something to be said about Albuquerque and how the outdoor lifestyle, there's just so much more to it, guys. I know I talk a lot about it on this channel, but it's because I personally enjoy the outdoors, and a lot of the people that we're actually helping move down here enjoy the same qualities of life that I do, right? I believe that nature is just such a big healer. There's a ton to offer when you just can hit a trail 5 minutes away from your house and just kind of, clear your head, clear your thoughts. But Albuquerque is just so much more than just hiking and biking and all that stuff, guys. It's that, right? Getting outside and enjoying your environment pretty much anywhere that you are in the city, because as you can see right now, it's kind of the middle of the morning and there's not a soul out here right now. And there's a lot of places in town where you're gonna find yourself pretty much finding peace and just getting outside, right? Mental health is gonna be better, and I'm not a doctor or anything, so I don't claim that it's gonna actually help, but it helps me, right? And I know that a ton of people that I talk to, it actually helps them as well, just to get outside, clear their head. I think Albert Einstein even said that some of his best ideas came when he would go on a long walk. And that's what I like doing with these videos out in the open like this, because when we're shooting from the hip, and a lot of the stuff I kind of script down, I write bullet points, but it really just comes to me because I'm enjoying everything that's around me. I'm present, and it's pretty cool to see that. So what does a typical weekend look like when you are living down here in Albuquerque? Well, majority of it is going to be spent outside because of our good weather and our good climate. You're going to want to enjoy the luxuries of just being in a nice backyard. If you got a patio, you know, sitting outside enjoying this nice little breeze that's coming through with a cup of coffee. I know that a lot of the clients that we help, that's a big thing that they're looking for, right? Like the Waldens, we just helped them out with the purchase down in El Toro Park. They moved down here from Colorado, Montrose, Colorado, and you can imagine Colorado's beautiful. And when they moved down here and they found this beautiful property in the middle of the city, we didn't expect it to be as quiet as it is, especially when we were there at their housewarming party the other night. It was super peaceful, super relaxing, and man, it felt just good to be in the middle of the city and kind of have that just reminder in the back of your head of like, man, we're in the middle of the city and it's not noisy. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of cars passing by here because they didn't live off of a main road. It was actually pretty cool. So lots to think about, lots to do when it comes to the outdoors, right? You can go fishing, you can go walking a trail, you can play pickleball like we do on the weekends. There's just so much that you can do, guys, that just pinholing it down to hiking and biking and enjoying the mountains would be a huge disservice to our city. Perfect balloon flying weather, guys. Like, it's crazy how clear the skies are. There's a mid breeze. It's actually like pretty comfortable being out here in shorts and just a t-shirt, guys. Like, there's a nice little breeze, so when you are in the sun it does get a little warm, so that's why I'm hanging out in the shade. But anyways, guys, the affordability aspect of living here still comes with some hidden costs. Now, one thing that I just want to be transparent with you guys is that our utility bills can fluctuate from time to time. Now, solar is super huge here, so you're going to get door knockers at your door all the time trying to sell you solar. I deny them because I'm not staying at my house for very much longer, so we are thinking about either moving or selling, doing something with the property to where we can get to a place that we want, something with a little bit more space, somewhere where I can have an office, my wife can have an office because she works from home, and then kind of obviously give more room to the kiddos. But anyways, guys, the fluctuation in our bills just really depends on the season. Now, they kind of level out, you know, there's some averages and you can get on payment plans. The utility companies here are great, but when it comes to the summertime, if you are running a pool, and I'm only saying this because we did it for the past couple of years, your electricity bill is going to be super expensive. Add refrigerated air to that, and you can be paying around $300 to $400 a month for your electric bill. If you don't have any of that and your kiddos aren't always on their electronics, then you could assume that your electricity bill is probably going to be $150, $200, just depending on how much you're using that given month. Now, water, not super terrible. I think we pay less than $100, and I shower like 4 times a day, and so does my wife, just with working out and then going to work and just being out. I always shower before bed. I don't know if that's weird, but I don't like getting into my bed dirty. Who knows? But anyways, guys, a couple things about me that you guys might have not known, but I feel like it's interesting, right? So in the wintertime, the hidden cost that you can see is that your gas bill is going to go up. Now, there is some places in Albuquerque that have electrical heating resources like water heaters and furnaces and stuff like that. So your electrical bill might be a little bit more expensive just because of that, and you may have a zeroed out gas bill. Now, there's some places that have propane, so they'll be using propane more than natural gas. So those bills can really fluctuate. I know propane's pretty expensive. I think some people pay on average anywhere from like $400 to $700, just depending on how big their house is and how much they're using it. And if they're not using those heating resources, they're actually using wood burning stove, which is very popular down here, believe it or not. So there's been times where I go to show a couple of houses to people that are looking to relocate here, and they ask me if that's an actual working stove or if it's, you know, just there for pretty. 99% of the time they're actually using it during the wintertime, or they use it to cook, right? I don't know what it is. It's nostalgic. It's actually pretty cool to see, and it actually saves you a ton of money. All right, now, so our community vibe, which is something that not a lot of people actually get to talking about. You see all this negative stuff happening and a lot of negative headlines, but the truth of the matter is, guys, is that Albuquerque has like tight-knit communities, but they're also very welcoming. So it almost may seem like, man, I'll never be able to hang out with those people or talk to those people. I had that experience this past week with somebody that I admired in business here in Albuquerque that's super successful, and he hit me up on Instagram asking to meet up, seeing what we can do to connect. And it's just that. somebody that I thought that I'd never have an opportunity to speak to. We were actually connected and sat down, and when we had a conversation, we actually had a conversation for like 3 hours, which I have no business doing, right? I'm just some YouTuber that talks about what life is like here in Albuquerque and just tries to help you guys out as much as possible with that. So with him being as successful as he is and giving me the opportunity just to sit down with him to have some coffee for a few hours was actually pretty freaking cool. And you see that happen all the time. I got a friend now, he was a client that moved down here from Pittsburgh, and he's integrated himself into so many different communities. He's actually been given the opportunity to join a local band now. So it's actually pretty cool to see that. Jimmy, who works on our team as well, he'll be producing videos here in the near future, so you guys will see him. He's a singing realtor. It's what he coined himself as. It's actually pretty cool, and he's actually freaking good. He's done so much in the community that he goes and does open mics and is even starting a band now as well. So a lot of different things that you can do here to really make yourself a part of the community. And with it being so welcoming, you're not gonna find it hard to adjust and really make friends or really search for opportunities when it comes down to like growing, jobs, and all that stuff. I had to take a chill pill. It is getting warm out here, and I wanna say I walked about a mile already just shooting this video, but I wanted to talk about the real estate market and the reality that we're seeing. Right now, the inventory is super low. I think there's less than 30 days of inventory, if that. That's on a good day. I think we're starting to see more homes come onto the market, but to be honest with you guys, even with rates coming down, the supply cannot meet the demand, especially if you're looking under $300,000. I have a few clients that are local that are looking under that, and we're having a difficulty finding a home for them. So if you're watching this video and you live here and you're thinking about selling your house, hit me up, because I may have somebody that could purchase that property for you, and we can help you get to that next step. And that number popping up on the screen is my direct line, so feel free to call or text at any time. But the average price has gone from $350,000 from like springtime to almost $400,000, guys. We are leading the country with home prices and how expensive homes are getting here. So I always recommend that if you're watching this, that you start having that conversation early. Get ahead of the ball, get ahead of the curve, because what you thought was possible from some of my previous videos, things might have changed. Now, that doesn't mean that you are totally priced out. There's still a ton of opportunities out there with homes sitting longer, because even though interest rates are coming down, not a lot of people are buying. There's just nothing out there to buy, to be honest with you guys, that really sparks the interest of some buyers. You can find yourself really getting into situations where you can negotiate some good credits, some good deals, or just something that makes sense for you guys if you are planning on moving down here. So with that being said, guys, just really depending on where you want to live, if you're planning on living on the east side of the mountains or closer to the east side of Albuquerque, closer to the mountains, you can expect to pay around $500,000 for a house on average. We just sold a house for we listed it for $300,000, and we were able to negotiate a deal because it needed a ton of work for around $235,000 all cash. So we were able to help somebody out with moving on to the next step and helping somebody else out with making that new adventure happen. So cool things happening. If you are planning on living on the northeast side, around $400,000, $350,000 in most cases, but the valleys, south and north valleys, you know, 600, 800 plus in some areas, just because, you know, they're custom homes on beautiful pieces of land. And then of course, the closer you get to the west side, northwest, around 350, southwest side, it gets a little bit less expensive, guys. So if you are planning on moving down here, guys, we need to have these conversations and really hop on this Zoom call to really look at the MLS and pull it all up for you guys and give you a better idea of what you can expect, and really match all of that to your lifestyle, right? Because if you do enjoy the outdoors, you may want to live closer to the east side. If you want family residential neighborhoods, west side. If you are a little bit older, enjoy your space, and you don't want a whole lot of neighbors, maybe some of the valleys are going to be your point of interest. But even if you are looking for a new home, some of these new home builders are giving out some crazy incentives, and we'd like to talk to you guys about them. Alrighty guys, we made it to the end of the video, and I know there was some things in there that I've already had conversations with you guys about, but for the majority, I didn't talk about them in the way that I talked about them today. So if you are planning on moving down here because you're looking for something that's a little bit more affordable, you don't mind the fluctuation in temperatures, the microclimates, you kind of want all 4 seasons. You want to experience snow when you want to experience snow. You want summertime when summertime is around, and you enjoy the stillness of fall like I do, then you might want to consider just having that conversation with us. Again, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. I'd love to hop on a quick Zoom call with you guys to really discuss all of this into great detail, right? There's only so much that I can do over text, over a quick phone call, but we'd love to set up that quick Zoom, no longer than 30 minutes. That way we can let you guys know what to expect when it comes down to moving here. And that way we can actually see your faces, right? Because we love chatting with you guys, connecting with you guys as much as possible. If there's anything we can do, we'd love to help. But I'm gonna get back inside. I'm thirsty as heck because that walk was starting to get warm. I'm actually starting to sweat. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.